Well, some of the things that we had identified before the season certainly materialized in L.A. First was our lack of size and depth hurt us defensively and rebounding-wise. Certainly in the Fresno State game, we got out-rebounded by 14, and that has been a major concern of ours. Second was something that we felt we were improving in, ended up being a real weakness in the tournament, and that was our ball handling and decision-making. We turned the ball over way too often. A lot of them were unforced errors, and the decision-making as to where the open man was not consistent enough. In the championship game, we had 16 turnovers and only 11 assists. That needs to be the opposite. 16 assists or more, 10 or 11 turnovers, that's the goal, and we've got to be better at accomplishing that goal if we're going to succeed.
Do you like Chris scoring so much? I mean, do you sort of wanted more balance with assists and that sort of thing, or are you okay with him averaging 20 points or whatever?
Okay, so there's two parts to that question. The first part I'll answer, do I like that he can score? Yeah, I really like that he can score. Do I like that he had 5 turnovers and 2 assists? No, I just finished meeting with him to tell him it needs to be the opposite. So it's not about scoring. We're only playing 7 guys. They all have to score. All right? So we have 5 guys in double figures. You know, Anthony Lawrence had 17 points in the championship game, but he only scored 6 in the semifinal. Right? The concern is more about balance. You have to have a team that finds the open man regularly, whether it's Chris scoring or Zach scoring or DJ scoring or Amp scoring or Buka scoring. Those guys all have to score, but it's making good decisions so we're not turning the ball over. We need Buka to stay in the game longer. He played 21 minutes in the championship game because he was constantly in foul trouble. And that's a problem for me. Like, who am I going to put in? We do not have Dewan.
You mentioned Dewan. Like, what is sort of the deal there? I mean, any indication we'll get him back this year? You don't even know? I mean...
Don't know anything.
What, no one's giving you any kind of timetable at all?
I don't think there is a timetable. I don't think the NCAA works that way.
I mean, you had a similar situation, I can't remember who it was, but like 4 years ago maybe, something like that?
It was
What?
Daquan Jones.
Yeah, right. Wasn't that sort of the same thing?
Yeah, you know what was interesting about that? The thing he was, Daquan Jones, if I remember correctly, was accused of something, and it was investigated. And when the investigation was over, it was, no, we didn't find anything, so you can play now. But it took them from the time August the 17th was when I was informed that there was an investigation until December. We were playing Charlotte. And I remember calling him and say, hey, look, you just been cleared. You can fly up here and play tomorrow.
For 5 months.
So that was December something. I don't remember exact date, but you just wait until you hear back from him.
How's Daquan dealing with this?
You know, I met with him earlier, asked him how he was feeling, and he's in good spirits. He's very anxious to get back and play.
And he's practicing with you, right?
But
He's practicing.
well, he couldn't go to California, so he didn't practice with us there. But yes, he can practice when we're at home. So he'll practice this week, although not really practicing, we're playing games. I asked someone today, you know, we're playing 5 games in 10 days. I wonder why our football team doesn't do that, or college football for that matter. Why don't they play 5 games in 10 days? Why is basketball so different that way?
You want the real answer?
Well, yeah, why do we play 30 games and
I guess they feel
not
like
12?
Getting guys hit 30 times physically maybe. It's not good for the guys.
Maybe if you guys put
You're kidding.
on it.
Basketball's a non-contact sport, from what I heard. Except when you see our guys in the training room afterwards, the bumps and bruises and sprained ankles and knees and shoulders.
Can you talk about Buka and the foul trouble? I mean, that's something that's kind of been an issue with him all along. It seemed like the first few games this season, he had sort of overcome that, it seemed.
No, I don't think he's ever truly overcome. I think he's an inexperienced player when it comes to the game of basketball, and continues to be.
So what can you do to help correct that?
I guess sub when he gets in foul trouble. I did. You want to hear something funny? I was reading an article about playing guys with 2 fouls, and one of the coaches in our league just says, "Well, I just play my guys, and they're not going to foul out." That's okay, because I did that when we had Shane Larkin. He picked up 2 fouls. And never worried about him fouling out. He wasn't going to make decisions that would allow him to foul out. And I think he did foul out once in his career in his 2 years with us. But every player is different. And you've got to evaluate the player. Will he be able to stay in there and not foul? So the other day, I put Buka back in with 3 fouls, and I said, don't pick up a 4th foul. He picked it up on the very next possession.
Anthony Mackie hasn't had as much playing time yet. Is he still kind of working in? He's just like experienced? We're in a situation where we have a 7-man rotation right now, and he's the 8th guy. He's going to get in most of the time, but he played a little bit in our first game against LaSalle and a little bit against Fresno, but against Seton Hall, just decided to stick with a bigger lineup. We were getting killed inside, and we just wanted to play Dangak more and hope he could block a shot or get an offensive rebound. On the final, on the final play of this last game, was that a good decision to shoot a 3 there? Would it have been a better decision to? I'm just wondering. Your expert opinion.
Well, here's the answer to the question. When the play begins, the players have to make the decisions, right? Is it possible that Zach Johnson could have shot it instead of passed it? The answer, of course, is yes, he could have. I didn't stop him from doing that. Anthony Lawrence got a wide open 3, a shot going into the tournament. He was shooting 45% on those shots. And had he made that, that would have put us up 2. All right? Or he could have caught it and faked the 3-pointer and driven to the basket, in which case he could have scored, he could have gotten fouled, or he could have charged. So I don't make those decisions. We make the decision as a coaching staff to put our players in the position to make a good decision themselves. So do I think Zach made a good decision to find Anthony Lawrence, who was wide open? Yes. Do I think Anthony Lawrence made a good decision in shooting that shot? The answer is yes. Why? Because that's a great shot for him. If you drive, you could charge, you could travel, you might shoot and miss and foul a guy on the offensive rebound. But if we had to do it all over again, would I call the same play and hope that just Anthony Lawrence makes the shot? The answer is yes. I thought he had a great look at it. And I told him afterwards, hey, I have confidence you can make that shot.
What about Zach? I mean, he really kind of came out. That was sort of his coming out party out there, it seemed like.
Well, I think he's actually played that way through the first 6 games. Just that we were bringing him in off the bench. And in the Fresno State game, it became very apparent that we needed him out there for his ball handling, because we were being pressed and trapped, and he's a little bigger and stronger at handling the ball. So I started him in the second half, and he played so well in the second half of the Fresno game, we decided to start him against Seton Hall, because Seton Hall is also a team that presses. But as I've said all along, when we have DeJuan with us, we have 7 starters. And any one of those 7 can be in the starting lineup.
Anything else?
Krista, you were going to ask
I was
something?
going to ask about Zach, and just what you thought, kind of how his season has, how he's fit in.
Well,
I think in the month of September he was hurt. He wasn't practicing. In the month of October, he was working himself back in, and it took him a while. And now I think he feels more confident and comfortable in the role that he has. So that's a good thing.
Coach, just a question, having DeJuan out, how much did it throw a monkey around? I mean, you're really, basically.
Oh, you mean we're playing without our best big man?
Exactly, like, I mean,
Yeah, that does have an impact. DeJuan
how have they,
DeJuan is capable of being an all-conference performer, and without him, a lot of things have changed. Just look at Ibuka Zundu. He played 21 minutes. Well, that would be normal if DeJuan were starting and he was subbing for him, or if they were playing together. I could still move DeJuan over to play that spot. But instead, we're playing basically a freshman, Dangak, or a sophomore, Sam Wardenberg, in those positions. They're not as experienced, they're not as skillful, and they're not as good defensively. They're not as good a rebounder. So the game has certain categories you're trying to win. So you're trying to win at defense, so that's field goal percentage. Field goal percentage defense. Well, when you make a team miss, then it becomes rebounding. How good are you at defensive rebounding? And at the offensive end, how are you good at field goal percentage makes? And DeJuan's a high 50% plus shooter. So, and then offensive rebounds, he's one of the best in the country at, when he gets an offensive rebound, his efficiency is in the top 4% in the country. So we're missing him defensively, defensive rebound, scoring-wise, offensive rebound-wise. So that's a lot of categories to be missing a key element to your offense and defense.
on the flip side, also, did you see like a psychological impact on the kids? And you had to maybe, hey, here's a chance for somebody to step up. I mean, that's gotta be.
Yeah, no, I think guys have done that, because we've played now 6 games without him. So guys are knowing, hey, I'm getting a chance to play a lot. I need to play hard, and I need to play well, and I need to help the team. Oh, and I think everybody would feel much different had we made that last shot, because then we'd be 6-0, and people would be saying, oh, we're playing great. Well, sometimes it just comes down to making one shot or one good decision or a free throw here or there. So right now, we're about as good as we can be without DeJuan. And we got to hope at some point we get him back. But until then, we still got to play the games. We have 3 games. We've just played 3 games in 4 days. Now we're going to play 3 games in 8 days. As I said, that's a challenge for anybody.
And Jim, just to be clear, it's in the NCAA's hands now?
I believe so.
Okay.
I don't, certainly not in my hands, or I don't think it's in the University of Miami's hands. I think it's in the NCAA's hands to make the determination of what happened and what his status is.